Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Bill Williams coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, once again on the Influencers Podcast. And today we're going to have another series of stellar shows. And I want to start off today with Rob Aurelius, who is the co-founder of ARCG Media. And he runs the Nexus Group. He's been involved in marketing and branding, a marketing specialist for many years. And looking forward to hearing his take on what's going on in the world today. Hello, come on in, Rob Aurelius. How are you doing?
Good morning, Dr. Bill Williams. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm doing great today. How are you?
Good. And I understand you're up in New York, are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. How is everything going right now? Summer approaching, so people getting up?
Yeah, we have some days that it's a little cold, and we have some days that are pretty warm. So Mother Nature's doing its thing right now.
One of my fondest memories of being in New York was the day I took my children up there when they were younger, and we got on a bus for tourist tour, and it was 102 degrees riding through the city.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen 102 degrees in New York. I mean, I remember as a child definitely feeling the 90s, and it was really hot.
Yeah, it was surprising to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The humidity here could be pretty bad. That's the one thing I don't like is the humidity.
I think it was 4th of July weekend. And the other extreme to that 4th of July weekend was in Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, on another 4th of July. We were on horseback riding, and it was snowing on us.
Oh, wow. 4th of July.
So, United States has got a broad range of temperatures, even on the 4th of July.
Yes.
Let's talk about ARCG, your background. What happened and who are you surrounded by that inspired you to do what you're doing in the marketing and media area?
Well, look, the two people that I looked up to always and, pretty much are like my inspirations in life had nothing to do with marketing. But, I was able, because I had a passion for it, because I started off with sales, I was able to navigate to marketing. The two people that I am talking about is, number one, my grandmother. My grandmother, she was 91 when she passed in 2019. She had a long battle of dementia. But, my family is from the Dominican Republic. And my grandmother was, the rock of the family. She was the backbone. And as a child, I didn't have the best childhood at home. But anytime that I spent time with my grandmother, this is my mom's mom, and the only grandparent that I ever had, she always gave me advice and always told me to do good. She always told me that if I ever had a dream, to chase it. And she told me that when I did chase my dream and did conquer it, make sure that I continue to be humble. Always give thanks to the Lord above. She always told me to make sure that I always do right by people. She always told me that, to make sure that whenever, someone is looking up to me, to make sure that I treat them well and give back to them. So pretty much my grandmother was like the most inspirational person in my life. She is the reason why I, started the business. She is the reason why I try to live my life every single day the best way I can. Another person that also inspired me with his music was Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson may have had one of the most controversial lives for the media, but, his music is something that I always tell people we can't take away from him. He was singing a lot of these songs to a lot of the things that are happening in the world today, even before. And I resonate a lot with his music. And I've always told people that I looked up to him because, he was definitely one of those people who was a celebrity who gave back. I think it's important to give back. I've worked with a lot of celebrities. I've worked with a lot of people, and I've also seen, celebrities in the past who, once they get to the level of success that they wanted to, they kind of get a little greedy and they don't want to give back. So, I've been inspired by greatness, kindness, human decency. And, there's a lot of people out there that I can name as well too. But the two main people that have inspired me in my life has been my grandmother and Michael Jackson.
Excellent, excellent. Everybody needs a grandmother in their life, and it's great to have somebody that lives long enough in your family so that you can look up to grandmothers. And I was fortunate to have two grandmothers that I knew well. Now, as you moved through and got into the media business, tell us your greatest failure story. What did you learn from it, and how did you recover to move on to the success you have today?
Well, I started the business ARCG Media 10 years ago with a former partner, and at the time we were a collective. So we were first called A&R Collective Group before we became an actual media company. With us being a collective, of course, we offered a broad line of services. Then eventually, when we became a media agency, we kind of like cut down on some of those things. I guess one of my biggest failures was, I started off on the wrong foot, and I kind of oversold and underdelivered many times. And it cost me because eventually what happened was a lot of clients and a lot of people that I was associated with at the time, they, weren't happy. So, sometimes when people are not happy with you, what do they end up doing? They end up either bad mouthing you or pretty much, disassociating from you. And sometimes those type of things are personal, right? So one of the things I learned with that is, and getting back to like I was saying previously, is, always make sure that you're kind, always make sure that you are honest, and always make sure that you, respect people. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, of course, it took years for me to learn from my mistakes, and I'm still learning from my mistakes every single day. And I'm glad that I've been able to been guided by some of the best mentors. One of my partners, Matty Rock, has been special counsel for ARCG Media for the last 10 years, but he's also been one of my mentors. He's definitely helped me learn from my mistakes. And now what I do is usually I give advice to people and consult people when they start a business similar to mine or any type of business, and kind of give them that same advice that was given to me to make sure that they don't repeat those same mistakes. And if they do get to that mistake, how to learn from it and how to get back up from it and, move forward.
Yeah, so you went through the trial and the error period, and then you learned what worked, what didn't work. Now you give sage advice to people. You've seen other people come along. What are the 3 reasons that these people tend to fail? If you can kind of give us the overview of what the most common ones are.
That kind of question, sometimes people are going to answer it very differently. There's many, many reasons. As far as top 3, I'm not sure if what I'm about to say will be the top 3, but I think one of the 3 reasons why people fail is sometimes ego. Sometimes people become successful, and they know they are successful, and ego gets in the way, and ego can cause a lot of damage, a lot of issues. Another thing could be laziness. If you start a business, if you are a business person, you should have the mentality to wake up every day and know that the first thing you should do is, start your day, whatever it is that you're doing, breakfast, coffee, brush your teeth, shower. But, as soon as you get up, make sure that, answer your emails, answer any text messages you may have. If you don't have an agenda written for the day, make sure you write that agenda. If you don't do those type of things, that's going to equal to failure. Another thing is listening. It's important to listen to people and communication. I tell people that one of the world's biggest problems is lack of communication. If we communicated more, each and every one of us, I don't think there would be so many issues in the world. So to me, that's some of the failures as to why, some of the reasons why people fail.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of your advice goes to the entrepreneur, solopreneur, the person who really doesn't work for somebody else. They work for themselves, starting their own business. And if you don't take charge early, the day's going to pass you by and you won't get much accomplished. So I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
What motivates you internally to get up and go and start this daily routine?
The legacy my grandmother left behind. That's one of the things that motivates me. knowing that my future looks bright. If you can look into your future sometimes and see what's there, and it's beautiful to you, it's something that gives you drive. It's something that motivates you internally to want to, get there, because again, it's like a start line and it's a finish line. And I think all of us are kind of in that situation in life with the start and finish line. And, sometimes people say it's not a marathon, it's a race, or it's a race, not a marathon, whatever, floats their boat. But, I know that I want to get to where I want to be, and I'm going to take my time with it, and I'm going to do it my way. So, that's one of my motivations.
Yeah, it's the journey, not the end goal. Sometimes you've got to enjoy the journey along the way, but you want to reach that finish line all the same. Tell us about your company's motto. What is ARCG Media?
So ARCG Media, we are we still kind of operate like a collective, but, we're an agency that helps people with their dreams, with their goals, with their visions. So, one thing that we like to make sure that we do is that we put smiles on people's faces, and that people are happy with us. People are happy with our services. So, we do a lot of, we cover a lot of sports, we do a lot of media, we do a lot of entertainment. But most importantly, we do a lot of social impact. So, we always want to be involved in what's happening in the world, as long as it's a positive thing that we're involved in.
And do you have a motto for your company?
I've never really thought about it, but, one of the things we do is we try to inspire, and we try to, one of the things we tell people is, world peace, begins with hello.
Good first impression.
Thank you.
What about the 3 top success secrets that others can model from the ARCG Media and you yourself, Rob, do?
One of the things I mentioned earlier, giving back at large. Giving back is very important. Taking risks. It's important to take risks. A lot of people are scared of failures. A lot of people are scared of many things, but, you're not going to learn from something if you don't do it. And, also, I think one of the most important things is control the negative attitude.
Yeah, I agree with your first point, especially being known as somebody who's generous and gives back to the community goes a long way with social capital. I know back when I was practicing dentistry, we were known as the missions dentist because we had many, many trips to Africa, to Kenya, doing our mission trips. 10 years, we went. And when I came back, I'd always give a report. I would always give radio interviews, newspaper articles would go out. So we were known all around Atlanta as the missions dentist. And I think that's a high level of honor to be bestowed upon somebody, to be known as something that's in that realm. So any company that is doing something to benefit others is going to get a lot of kudos.
Yes.
You're right on target with what you recommend. Let's talk about your audience, your customer base. Who should buy from you? Why should they buy from you?
We started up as a startup. I still consider ARCG Media a startup, a boutique firm. One of the reasons why we've had success is because one of the things our clients have said to us when it comes to feedback is they love the personal connection. Sometimes we kind of feel like family. Not everyone says that. Not everyone feels like that. And that's because, you have to be able to have some type of bond or some type of trust with a business or individual. And that's one of the things that we've had in the last 10 years. When we try to attract clients and say, why ARCG, we operate like a boutique firm. We don't operate as a big, large firm. We make people feel special all the time. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, we love to put a smile on people's faces, and understanding and listening and being very strategic with everything. One of the things I've had clients say to me in the past, and these are different type of clients, is we don't want to just be another client. You know, we have needs, we have wants, we have desires, and we want to make sure that your company can give that to us, because of course there's so many other companies competing out there, especially in New York City. So we take pride in that.
Tell us, who your ideal client is, what demographic, what location, what age group?
As far as location, it doesn't matter. ARCG is pretty international now. Age group, someone that's old enough to operate a business. So even if that's 18 and up, that's fine. Who we look for, look, to be honest, we're just looking for someone who has a story to tell, someone who has a great product or a great brand or a great mission, a great message to deliver to the world. So that's pretty much who our ideal client is.
And is there a particular way you go about finding the clients that you serve?
Networking, pretty much. Sometimes we look into certain causes that are going around the world. And, I'm very big with mental health. I love mental health a lot. So sometimes if I come across like someone mental health post and I see that, their media strategy may not be, out there the way it should, I reach out to them and I say, hey, we're ARCG Media. We focus on social impact as one of our things that we do. And, we think that we would be a great fit.
What kind of a product service would you say you have for sale on the shelf that you can deliver to the people?
Great results. Clients are always looking for results somehow, some way. And I think great results is something that we've, have an expertise in, because the group of people that I am surrounded with at ARCG, we all have pretty much the same mindset. We all have the same mission. And, we have some of the best resources. We have a great network. Well, we've solidified ourselves over the years. So we have a great network. And believe it or not, sometimes when clients hire us, as time goes by, one of the first things they say is, man, like you guys are so outgoing and so easy to work with. You guys are not political in the sense of, you're not trying to control too many things. There's a lot of liberty. There's a lot of freedom. But at the same time, we also try to give them that advice as to what we think should be. Like if they have an idea, we honor it. But if there's something else that we can add to it, we definitely let them know about that and see if it's something that they would like to move forward with.
Do you guys provide PR, public relations? Do you do social media posting, create content for people? Do you put together podcasts, radio shows, TV spots? What is your focus there?
Yeah, so we do all of those things that you mentioned. The only thing we don't do is PR, because we're not a PR firm. We do more marketing. But then again, I do have a little bit of PR, experience. So sometimes I do use that to the best of my ability. My partner, Maddie, who's been doing this for probably about 30 years, he has a little bit of PR experience. So sometimes, when needed, we do offer a little bit of PR services, like a press release or something like that.
Yeah. Anything specific you can do to crush the competition, since there's so much of it up there in the big city?
So, like I mentioned recently, we're in New York City, the Big Apple, and there's so many firms out there, to name a few: Viacom, Sony, entertainment companies that do media as well too. It all goes back to what I said. Sometimes the clients that we have leave the bigger companies because one, they think that they were spending too much money and didn't have that connection or built that bond that they wanted. And two, we make people feel safe. We make people feel like they can trust us. Trust is not built overnight. And that's something that people are looking for. They look, a partner you can trust. And that's what a lot of clients are looking for all the time: a partner that you can trust, someone that's going to make their life easier. And one of the things that we have done in the last 10 years is, put our clients first and make things easier for them. So I think that's one of the ways we crush our competition.
Now, if you go out and look for connections and you use different online platforms. Can you name 2 or 3 that really you use and have helped you grow your company, or maybe help the people you serve grow?
Well, here's the thing, Dr. Bill Williams. When we first started off, we started off with social media, but we were not trying to be a social media based agency. We of course we had a Twitter, we had a Facebook, we had an Instagram, because at the time in 2013, those 3 social platforms are very big. Over the years, when we transitioned more to the online media business, we definitely started using LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been very, I think that's one of the ways you and I met was through LinkedIn. So we've had a lot of connections and we've done a lot of networking through LinkedIn. We've gotten a lot of leads from there. We've also used, of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Twitter has been very innovative lately. There's a lot going on, especially with Twitter Spaces. Even during the pandemic, how I got some of my clients was through Clubhouse. Clubhouse, I was introducing everyone to ARCG Media. I was introducing everyone to a product that I was marketing at the time, which was a health and recovery product, CBD. And all those social platforms really, really helped, get me where I'm at today, and also, help get ARCG Media on the scope.
Tell us about your 5-star client experience, as we jump into talking about the deliverables.
So one of the things I've gotten back from my clients as feedback is they like how, we're very flexible. They also like how whenever, they may have doubt of something, the fact that we take the time to listen to them and hear what they're saying, how we kind of encourage them to like not feel doubtful about the situation, but at the same time, pretty much how we make them feel. I had a client one time, he had an idea for a product. He had added certain ingredients to it, then he removed them. Then he put them back, and then he says, look, I don't know what I'm doing here. So can I get some advice? And I remember speaking to the client, and after the call, the client was like, okay, I'm going to move forward with this. So I remember when they were able to launch that product, I remember them reaching back out to me and saying, thank you very much. Because, honestly, I probably would have put something out there that was not going to do so well, but it is doing well. And it's thanks to your input and your advice and your guidance.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are the type of agency that walks hand in hand. You're a counselor, you're a buddy, you're personally interested. So
yes,
you definitely got the personal touch. I can see that. Now, if you take a good experience, naturally you want to create brand ambassadors from your clients, because word of mouth is your best bet for any kind of marketing. It's the goal to create brand ambassadors. What do you do to convert yours?
Well, I had a client one time. He is a rapper in Dallas. In Houston, Texas. His name is Robert Dottie, but he used to go by Country Boy. Over the years, we helped him kind of like repackage, change everything. And he didn't want to rap about the typical stuff that rappers rap about, right? He wanted to rap more about positivity. So he changed his name. He became Cooley Wooly. And, he became very motivational. And now, believe it or not, he has had so many doors open for him. The Grammys have invited him to participate and whatnot. And, a few years ago, he reached out to me because one of the causes I was focusing on, which is every month I support colorectal cancer awareness. And he had something like that in the past. And he said to me, how do I get out there? How do I just, how can I use my music and all the other things that I do as a platform to, get my voice out there and speak about certain causes? So I remember connecting him with Fight CRC, which is the organization that I work with, to turn him into a brand ambassador so that he can, perform at some of their benefit concerts. And that's some of the things I've done with other clients as well, too. Clients have said to me, hey, how can I, I do this for a living, like I'm a model, but how can I become an actress? How can I do this? How can I do that? Or how can I, become a brand ambassador for a certain brand? So one of the first things I asked him is, is this something you believe in? Is it something that you think will benefit you, like a CBD brand or something for mental health or whatever the case may be? And we pretty much take it from there.
Well, the future is good for the marketing industry if they connect to the brand ambassador model, because it's
Yes.
fairly new in terms of how people are taking advantage of it with all the social media. It used to be more difficult. You had to do more of a TV spot or a commercial.
Yes.
Nowadays, much easier, and a lot more people are doing it. I can see that.
Yeah.
Tell us what you're grateful for today as we go forward. And Rob, what do you think is the one thing that you're most grateful for?
I'm grateful for my life. I've had my ups and downs, but I've had some good days, and I always cherish the good days. The bad days, I take them as lessons. I'm also very supportive of the people who support me and believe in me. I think that's very important. I've never been a fan of the word self-made. I think that everyone that's been successful somehow, some way, got there because of the support system that they had. And, whether it's your family, whether it's friends, whether it's a significant other who always believed in you, you always have to acknowledge that and appreciate that. So that's what I'm grateful for.
Yeah. Do you have a great goal in mind for the future? What are you achieving? What are you shooting for right now?
I do have certain goals. Some of them are, personal goals, especially like when it comes to my health, because I have last year, I had a talk with my doctor about certain things that are happening with me right now as far as my health, diabetes and whatnot. So my goal is to, stay focused, eat better, train hard at the gym, because I used to be a big freak at the gym, and I can't wait to go back. And, with that, to me, it's a journey. So, inspire people along the way. People will most likely inspire and motivate me. So that's how I pretty much plan to achieve my goal. Make some changes, some necessary changes to get to where I need to be.
Yeah.
So that I can continue to, live longer and do what I love to do.
Yeah. The alternative is not very good if you don't achieve that goal.
Yeah.
So how would you feel if you had trouble achieving your goal? What would be the mental state you'd be in?
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be a sad one, I know.
Yeah, very.
So if life gives you challenges, what do you do personally?
All I can say is challenges are great, to be honest. You need a challenge, right? Because a challenge is like a test. It teaches you who you are, teaches you your strengths, your weaknesses, and whatnot. And, if there's a difficult challenge, how I try to overcome it is I just try to see the light, in everything. Try to see what's on the other side. If there's something negative that's judging clouding my judgment at the moment, I eliminate it. I try to get rid of it. Try to surround myself around positivity, positive people, listen to great music, watch things that inspire me. And sometimes listen to other stories and hear how someone who may have been in the same situation that I was, how they overcame it. So that's how I try to overcome challenges. I feel like challenges, curveballs, that's what they call them. Sometimes curveballs or hurdles will be there. And it's all about how you deal with it. It's also how you react to it as well, too. Reaction is a very important thing.
Yeah, you made me think of something. When I was about in the 9th grade, I played on a Pony League baseball team, and they asked me to try to be the catcher. And when I was catching fastballs, no problem. But as soon as that curveball got thrown at me, I basically had to duck.
Oh, man.
I couldn't catch a curveball because nobody, when I was growing up, could throw a curveball until I got into Pony League. So it's like, whoa, what was that? Yeah. So if you have a little insight for us here, tell us about the paid digital media like Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn ads. Has that played a role in your growth of your company?
Yeah, it's played a major role, and it's given me a platform to showcase, my talent. It's given me a platform to share my story. So I've definitely benefited from paid digital media, and I'm very grateful for it. And like I mentioned to you before, like I have used Facebook, LinkedIn.
I guess being a media company, you probably recommend people get into that and use those ads to grow their company too, right?
Yes, people always ask me, what media platform should I be on? And it's always some of the top 3 recommendations that I make. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. There's so many now, TikTok. Depending on what it is that they're doing, and the audience they're trying to reach.
Well, this will be one of the more valuable points of our program today because you're an expert and have done this. So give us a little bit of your experience of percentage of revenue people might recommend investing in paid digital media to create success.
This is one of the first questions a client always asks me, usually in a, I don't know, I guess sometimes when they're sharing, what it is, what their business is and what their goals are, and where they plan to be in the next 6 months, year, 5 years from now. And they always ask, how much should I invest? I always say to them, to be fair, 8 to 10% of the revenue should be recommended. I always tell them, especially sometimes when they think it might be too much. One of the things I'd say to them is think about the very big companies. Think about Verizon. Think about, Starbucks. How much do you think they're investing a year? Billions of dollars a year in advertising, in paid digital media. So just think about it. I was like, if they're at where they're at, they can spend a little more. So, the goal is you want to be there, and, of course you want to spend less, but honestly, when you spend a little more, trust me, you're going to get the results that you want.
Absolutely. I like the 8 to 10%. A lot of people don't think they can afford that, but the other side of it is you cannot not afford it.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who say you could save 90% and get the same result? Would that be attractive as a media firm to recommend options that people might not know of?
It's very important to offer options, let them know that there's other options available, because sometimes they feel that they're limited, and you don't ever want a client to feel limited, because once they feel limited, they're going to feel discouraged, and their doubt is going to rise. So you don't want that. So, letting them know that there is options available. Sometimes there's clients that say, look, I don't have the budget for it right now. Can I revisit later? And even though, other agencies would not recommend this, sometimes I give them a little bit of tips just to start up, to get their foot in the door and see. And I tell them, look, if you're doing good, let me know how you're doing. But if you feel like you've moved one step forward, but you still feel like before you take that second step, you want to be able to do more, then reach back out to me and we can work through it together. Maybe at that time, maybe their budget may have gotten a little better, for them to invest more in.
Here's a scenario. You have a conversation with a client. Which is better? Is it better to say you got $10,000 a month that you put on paid digital media? Is it better to save 50% and get the same result? Or is it better to spend the same amount but get 200% the result?
Honestly, it kind of depends. No matter how you word it or how you put it, to me, it's all about the interest. Some clients like to save a lot of money. But some clients believe, I had a client that believed that whatever it took, as long as it was fair, they were willing to invest in it. I've had those clients that always bring up the whole, how can I save? How can I save? And I say to them, look, saving is important, but honestly, what I do kind of want to encourage them is like the last option that you mentioned. You want 200% results. This is how you got to do it.
Yeah. If you have a good ROI on any dollar you spend, it's worth spending more.
Yes.
The limitation factor I find is the growth factor that you can handle. You can
Yes.
actually grow too fast and be just as damaged as growing too slow.
Yes, that's true.
So there's a balance, and a lot of people growing and starting companies don't realize they could get too successful
Yes.
and not be able to deal with the people trying to come in, and then they would lose business based on poor performance.
Yeah.
Hey, let's jump into the question about what would you tell yourself if you're giving advice to your 20-year-old self?
Listen to your heart and never give up.
What about your mentor? You mentioned your grandmother earlier. Anybody else that you mentioned?
My mentor, my living mentor, because my grandmother's gone now, is definitely Matty Rock, the gentleman I mentioned earlier. Um, right after my old partner and I parted ways when we started ARCG, I kind of felt a little discouraged. I didn't know if the business would last and how far it would go. And here we are today. Thank God and knock on wood. 10 years in, Maddie has been one of the most important people in my life. He's given me all the advice. When I met him, I was a little all over the place. I was in my early 20s, and believe it or not, he's taught me everything that I know. And whenever I've had doubt or whenever I had suspicion of something, or even when I was confused of something and I needed a little bit more clarity, he's always the person that I reach out to first. And he's very level-headed, and he always, gives me the best advice. And sometimes he tells me, "Look, I'm going to let you think about this on your own, see what you feel, just to see if it makes sense." So I'm very thankful for him.
Good news. Glad you got a good mentor like that.
Thank you.
What is being impactful important to you? Why is that?
It's human nature. And, it's human nature to want to do that, to be impactful. People, I feel like there's a lot of people in this world that don't, were raised with, they never saw, they were never on the right path. They never had the right advice, the right guidance. So when you make an impact on something, it's all about who you're impacting, right? So making an impact is important because, I feel like you leave something behind, like some type of a legacy, some type of remembrance, a positive thing. Like, for example, like Martin Luther King, what he did, the impact that he made, thanks to him, today, a lot of more people have more opportunity, including women, So I'm very thankful for that. And I'm glad that impact has always been something that's been very important in life.
Yeah, that kind of flows right into that next question I wanted to ask you about. When it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for?
What do I want to be remembered for? So pretty much, I remember when I used to ask my grandmother that, I used to say to her, what do you want to be remembered for? And she says, I just want to be remembered for my hard work. I just want to be remembered for someone that never gave up. When she came to this country, my grandfather had stayed back home and she was on her own. And she brought all her children to this country, my mom included, and my aunts and uncles. And she worked very, very hard. She always respected the value of a dollar. She always respected hard work. And it's definitely something that, has adapted to me. So what I want to be remembered for is my passion. People that know me personally, they can see my passion. And I've had people tell me, wow, you're a very passionate person, So I want people to remember me for my passion and pretty much for my story, for everyone that I'm able to share my story with, of how far I've come and where I've come from. That's what I want to be remembered for.
Excellent.
Thank you.
How can we support you and ARCG Media?
Pretty much by supporting us. When it comes to supporting us, pretty much, just follow our journey. ARCG, follow my journey, follow, Rob Aurelius's journey. There's a lot of changes that I'm making. I'm about to be 37 in a week and a half. So I see life very differently now. ARCG is in a different place today than it was, a few years ago. So, when people ask us, how can we support you? Just, sign up to our newsletters, follow us on social media. If there's something that resonates with you, or if there's a cause that we're supporting that you may like, feel free to reach out, and we can probably try to get you involved and contribute. I love bringing people together. That's what I love to do.
What is your website, and what is your connection point? Do you have a particular place like LinkedIn? Is your famous for people connecting through?
Yes. So LinkedIn is one of them. I've had LinkedIn for, I don't know, as long as maybe when I was a college student. So LinkedIn, my website, arcgmedia.com. The one social platform that has definitely gotten me the most revenue and the most networking and the most opportunity has been Twitter. I've had Twitter since 2010. So Twitter's definitely been, when it comes to Twitter is like the social network platform that I have the most followers on. And a lot of people always ask me that, like, why do you have more followers on Twitter than you do on Facebook or Instagram? And I say to them, because I've been on Twitter longer. I had been on Facebook for a while. I did start Instagram maybe a year after it came out, but Twitter was the one that I first, joined. And I remember saying, like, what do I do on here? It says tweet something. And I would just tweet my thoughts. But then once I became a businessman, and once I had a product and I had something to offer, it just became the tool and the platform that I use to publish the information that I want and the message that I want to deliver to the world.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm sure people in the audience are going to be interested enough to go to those places and find Rob Aurelius.
Yes.
Tell us about your guest experience on the show. How was it?
It was great. I think it was great. And it is a privilege. I've never been on an influencers podcast. I usually talk more about the company and the things that I do, like ARCG Media, the Nexus Group, which is one of my newest ventures. It's a mastermind group of getting a whole bunch of folks together. So I'm glad that you were able to reach out to me to give me this opportunity to share my story today.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Rob. We're really looking at showcasing people and what they believe, not just what they do. So influencers basically are people who show up in our community who are giving back, and you're certainly an example of that. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to give you the final word. Then I'll close the show and come back and say hello to you again after we close the show. But take it away and talk to our audience.
All I have to say to everyone is, every day that you wake up, no matter what is going on in your life, just know that this too shall pass. And remember to always do right. Remember to always do good, not just by others, but to yourself. You got to be good to yourself first before you can be good to anyone else. And love somebody today. Love is a very beautiful thing. And as long as you bring love, you put love out to the world, you will get so much love back in return. Trust me, it definitely will happen.
Thank you for doing the fine job today, Rob, and we will see you later on Influencers Podcast Around the World. This has been fun having you on today. I want to commend Rob for showing up and being on time, doing a great job today. And I can see that ARCG Media has a great leadership at the helm. What they're doing up in New York City and spreading around the world is enlightening people with the ability to see beyond their own company to give back to others. And it's refreshing to see companies with a focus beyond themselves. So thank you, Rob. And I want to leave you guys with a place to go and find out more about what we're doing on the Influencers Podcast, how we're using our influence to change the world. We have Bless and a group of other products and platforms to express your desire to help others, to share and communicate with others. So I want to invite everyone to go to my website and get the golden ticket, as I say, to come and see what we're doing on the Influencers Podcast. It's Dr. Bill Williams signing off. Another edition, and stay tuned for another one later today. We'll do an influencer podcast with a friend, Bree Smith. So that's coming up later today. Take care, and we will see you all in just a few hours.